live on your morning news at 8:30 on Spectrum News.
Local law enforcement teamed up this year for Operation School Watch to make sure your kids are getting to school safe. I'm Kaylee Peterson, and coming up, how they're hoping to extend that program all year round.
All right, Kaylee, we'll check in with you. And after banning them last year, hundreds of electric scooters are making a return to the streets of Winston-Salem in the coming weeks. The reason officials changed their mind and what they say will be different this time around. And officials are monitoring the water supply after another spill from the plant behind the Gen X contamination. What they're saying about the effects of the chemical. Good morning. It is coming up on 8:31 right now on this Thursday, September 26th. Glad you're with us. I'm Justin Quisenberry.
And I'm meteorologist Ariella Scalise.
This is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We've read this morning. A company in the UK called Reaction Engines says its new plane will actually break the sound barrier. And what's cool about this is that it could reduce flight times up to 80%. So that means you could fly from London to Australia in about 4 hours instead of more than 20.
Yes, and it'll be a while before you can catch one of these since the company is still building the test facility for the plane. But that's really cool, as if we can't already travel, fast enough. Like, being able to be on a plane is cool enough. And then look at this, could cut the time.
Yeah, but 20 hours, that's a long time. So
yeah, it
20
still
to 4.
Is. I think, in the theme of flying and then space and astrology, Hannah, one of our viewers, she slid into my DM and she said she loves what we do. And she says that she could tell that you are on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. I'm looking at your notes there, and I looked up some things, and I don't know, I kind of believe it because I think I scream Virgo, and people are all probably at
so
home
what are the
like,
traits of Capricorn and Aquarius? Because I am right on the line there.
Right, the one I saw, now I forget, but it was like friendly, intellectual, complex was one of them, sensitive was one of them.
Do you think I'm complex?
Yes.
Do you think I'm sensitive?
Well, I learned today that you're sensitive, and I feel bad now because I'm not always the nicest to you.
And a quick trait of Virgo for you.
Oh, very type A, I think. Like it's my way or the highway. People know when they meet a Virgo, they're like, you must be a Virgo. I'm like, that's not a compliment. Live look outside this morning.
I'm just gonna let you keep going.
Love to all my Virgos out there. I think we're ending Virgo season right now. Maybe today. I forget when it officially ends. But yeah, just some fun facts there about planes and space and astrology, all the good things. Back to the local weather forecast, which is what I was hired to do.
Are you sure?
I think so. Let me pull up my documents and see what it said in the
I really question that.
I know, sometimes I do too. We're looking at our visibility this morning, where we do still have very low visibility right now, actually 0 mile visibility in Burlington. I do expect that to continue to clear up as we go throughout the morning. But as I've been saying all morning, if you are traveling to Alamance County, heads up there for some of the dense fog. Yes, Justin is still laughing. Sorry, I guess it doesn't concern me.
I'm talking to our producer.
Okay. Muggy meter today up to slightly muggy. It's always this time of day that we get really wacky. So the normal 8:30 viewers, I swear, join us at 6 and 7. We are much more professional at that time. Slightly muggy today on the muggy meter. And as we go throughout the afternoon, hot weather on the way, 90. And then as we go through the evening, 80. And overnight, we're back into the lower 60s. When we'll have more on the 3-day forecast, Justin, that's coming up at 8:41.
Okay, we'll check in then. It's 8:33 right now, and we are following some breaking news this morning. If you're heading out the door, you may want to hang on just a moment and hear about this. We're getting reports that I-40 westbound is shut down at Elm Eugene Street because of a car crash. Officials tell us there are injuries, but we don't have details on how the people involved in that crash are doing. For now, the Greensboro Police Department asks that you find an alternate route. And we are live in Greensboro right now at 8:34. Just over a month into the school year, Greensboro Police are reviewing the success of this year's Operation School Watch. Spectrum News reporter Kaylee Peterson joins us now live with an update on the department's efforts to make school zones safe even after that push. Kaylee, good morning.
Justin, good morning. As you just mentioned, local law enforcement this year teamed up for the first couple of weeks for Operation School Watch, but they're still looking to continue that program. But first of all, joining me right now is Officer Price with the Greensboro Police Department. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So give us a little reminder what exactly Operation School Watch is.
Operation School Watch was a combined effort with the Greensboro Police Department, North Carolina Highway Patrol, Guilford County Sheriff's Office, and High Point Police throughout the county to focus in efforts around schools.
And you really focused on those first 2 weeks. Looking back, how successful was this effort?
Again, we just think it was a huge success, with the fact being that all students were able to get back and forth to school safely.
And you mentioned to me earlier it wasn't exactly about, issuing those citations, but of course that comes with an operation like this. What were kind of the results? What were some of the numbers we were seeing with this operation?
Absolutely. The citation was not the part of it. However, we did yield several citations involved in this first 2 weeks of school. One of the largest violations that we saw was speeding in a school zone. Nearly 300 citations were written for the first 2 weeks of school.
And you don't want to just do this these first 2 weeks. Tell me how you guys plan to, continue this.
Again, just a constant reminder. We're hoping to partner with, obviously, local media outlets to get the word out. School's still in session. Slow down, pay attention. But we're going to be focused in and around our school zones throughout the rest of the school year here in the city of Greensboro. So expect to see in most school zones, just about on any given day, an officer in that school zone.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Justin, we'll head back to you in the studio with just a reminder for everyone to watch those school zones as you make your way around town in the mornings.
It's so important, Kaylee. Thank you for that. It's 8:36 right now. After almost a year after the city of Winston-Salem banned scooters, they will make a comeback in a few weeks. The city partnered with 2 brands to bring in hundreds of scooters for people to use as transportation. The city spent the last several months creating an ordinance that outlines the rules for riders and companies.
The police will now have some clear guidelines. They're not allowed on the sidewalks. They're not allowed after 9 o'clock. There's speed limits, and they have to obey traffic laws and all of that material. And so now we have guidelines and standards for people. Expectations are clear.
If the first deployment goes well, the city will look into adding more scooters around the area. Another Chemours spill of an unknown substance in the Cape Fear River is leaving people with deja vu. Last year, the state fined Chemours for millions after the plant dumped contaminants, Gen-X specifically, into water supplies. With this spill, the Public Utilities Division has tested the water and said samples have not turned up anything problematic so far. Officials with the county say even though they are not issuing a boil water advisory or a bottled water advisory, they are still asking residents to take some precautions.
We're asking our residents to do their best to conserve water, and that means no irrigation or no unnecessary use of water so that we can maximize the treated water that we have stored.
Well, she says that workers will continue to test and monitor the water daily until they receive notification that they are in the clear. And of course, we'll continue to follow that and bring you any updates as we get them. Nearly 1,000 people gathered at the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem for advice on how to live life to the fullest. The Trellis Supportive Care Group held its Living Your Best Life speaker series yesterday. That included conversations about end-of-life care.
Hospice care, being the cornerstone of what we do, is really about helping people live their best life. Nobody wants to think about dying or their final chapters, but to think ahead about what would be your best possible end-of-life experience.
Well, this year's luncheon brought in some big-name speakers, including famed journalist Ann Compton and political commentators Mary Madeline and James Carville. Winston-Salem State University is launching a new fundraiser to increase scholarship support. The $1 Million Match Initiative takes a new approach to fundraising where donors will match every dollar between now and the end of the year for need-based endowed scholarships. The university hopes to raise up to $1 million so it can almost double the number of endowed scholarships at the school. Officials soft launched the initiative during the CIAA this year and raised close to $300,000 of the $1 million goal. They plan on ramping up fundraising efforts during homecoming week and WSSU's Giving Day in December. That's on a Tuesday. Winston-Salem native and NBA star player Chris Paul is back home. CP3 visited North Carolina A&T yesterday to share a prospective new class with students. The all-star point guard will partner with the school's College of Business to present case studies to students with a spotlight on sports, entertainment, and media. Paul thinks the lessons he learned off the court can help students.
Even me being here, being able to answer questions. There's different endorsement deals or partnerships that I've done over my entire career that some of these students, they can get that insight. Like I said, I can't force
Well, Paul will work alongside actually a Harvard professor for the class. He says a class he took at Harvard back in 2017 inspired the idea for this new course. Wake Forest University holds its annual Hit the Bricks fundraiser today. The event in honor of Brian Piccolo is an 8-hour relay with students, staff, and faculty competing to run the most laps around Hearn Plaza and raise the most money. The proceeds go to the Comprehensive Cancer Center at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. More than 84 teams competed last year, raising just over $60,000. This year, students vowed to register more than 120 teams and raise even more money than last year. Since 1980, student-led events like this one have raised more than $3 million for the Brian Piccolo Cancer Research Fund. He was an All-American football player and attended the school back in the 1960s, and he died of cancer in 1970. Today's event kicks off at 11 and runs until 7 tonight. And Breast Cancer Awareness Month kicks off in just a couple of days, but there's another triad event happening today that's getting a head start at celebrating the lives of women who have battled the disease. The Breast Cancer Center of Greensboro Imaging and Greensboro Imaging are hosting their annual Pink in the Park event today at LeBauer Park. The event aims to educate, support, and honor the lives of cancer victims and survivors. Vendors who provide products and services that aid in coping with the disease also participate. If you'd like to attend, festivities kick off at 10:30 this morning and run until 1. Time now is 8:41. We want to turn things back over to Ariella in the Weather Center for an idea of what we should expect as we head out the door this morning.
Right, and I will get to the forecast. I do have an update on some Virgo information.
Okay, let's hear it.
Loyal, analytical, kind, hardworking, and practical. I agree with those.
Yes.
Weaknesses, shyness, worry. I do worry a lot.
Yes.
Listen to this. Likes, animals, healthy food, books, nature, and cleanliness.
That all sounds like you.
That's me to a T.
It is.
And it's Libra season now. I misspoke. I think Virgo ended on September 22nd.
Okay.
So we are in the clear now.
Now we know.
Right, so I may have gotten a C in planetary astronomy, but I think I'm getting an A in astrology. Big difference.
Good for you.
One's a lot easier. Hey, I made it. I made it to becoming a meteorologist somehow. Somehow they let me on TV. So I did notice that Kaylee, who's outside this morning, always gives me an idea of whether or not the forecast has played out. So in the haircast, we were kind of talking to her back and forth, and she's like, you know what? I spent 30 minutes on my hair, and it was absolutely pointless. I could have had 30 more minutes of sleep. And that makes me think it is a forget it for today. 1 out of 5, because we have high humidity and because it's hot here. Normally, this is the season of good hair days as we get into the drier season here with drier air, but not for today. 84 by 12, 89 at 3, 88 at 6 o'clock. A high today of 90, not only hot, but also a bit humid out there. You'll certainly feel the mugginess. We do have a slight chance for some rain as we head really throughout the evening. The day is dry, and then as we get through 6, 7 o'clock, maybe some light rain here or there. I know not too much to get excited about. It's definitely not going to make a dent in that 3.5-inch deficit that we have, but hey, some rain would certainly be nice. That being said, still run the sprinkler if that's what you do. Still water the plants and the flowers. Maybe you just got some mums, some potted plants for kind of the fall season. They're all going to need plenty of water the next couple of days because rain chances generally stay low. Sunday may be a better chance for some widely scattered showers. That's getting a little bit better here. Otherwise, it will just be really hot as we go through the next couple of days. We'll have a closer look at the 7-day forecast in less than 10 minutes.
All right, we'll check in then. It is 8:43 right now. It's still ahead on your morning news. Students are meeting at the flagpole in our state. Why they are gathering there. And the world's oldest barber passes away in New York. Find out just how old he was and how much of his life he spent cutting hair. And as we head to break, this should be a live look. There we go. How about that? It's a nice start out there. It's a nice start out there over Greensboro this morning. We'll be right back.